Welcome back to the Investor Success Podcast. I am Jim Ingersoll, and I'm hanging out with a good buddy of mine from beautiful Athens, Alabama. You're going to love getting to know John Morey because, like myself, he's a recovering electrical engineer, exactly like myself, and he's got a really inspiring story to share with you today. So it's nice to have everybody back. Started this podcast about a year ago with the intent of helping inspire real estate investors to invest for cash flow and for profit the right way. Hey, I want to give a couple shout outs to people that have recently been leaving us some reviews in iTunes. We've been getting reviews, also comments and great things in YouTube. But this one came in from Matt Duran. And Matt, I really appreciate this. It said, Jim, I've really enjoyed your podcast. I look forward to continuing to work with you and learn from the great panel of guests that you continue to interview. Thanks for providing great content. Matt, thank you for that. And then we got one from CDog32 on January 30th. I'm not sure who CDog32 is, but apparently they know me. It says, if you've never heard Jim speak, I suggest you listen to these and find out where he is speaking. He does an amazing job. Thanks for all you do. So CDog32, I can't tell who you are because of your coded name, but if you'll let me know, I would really appreciate it. So I can thank you in person for your review. It's really, really nice to be with you today, John. How are you doing?
Not too bad, my friend. I'm excited.
Okay, awesome. Well, let's go backwards a little bit and talk about what happened last summer, because I remember a crazy day where you sent me a text and told me what was going on in your life. Let's go back there for just a minute.
Oh boy, that's a good one there. I've been doing engineering for over 20 years, and all of a sudden, something happened with this last job that I was at. I think we just didn't mesh. The things that I were doing over there was more higher corporate type stuff, and it looks like that my skill set was not being used correctly, and I think just the chemistry was not there. So because the chemistry was not there, they decided just out of the blue, without any warning, give me a letter of reprimand. Then a month later, they said, see ya, don't need you.
Yep.
So I said, wow, just like that. So I said, oh, it's okay. So that's when I texted you. I said, hey, Jim, I'm no longer in the corporate world. That was a shocker. My plan really was December 31st of 2018 to quit engineering and do this full time. Well, God had a different plan. His plan was May 13, 2016, and that was on a Friday. And I put it on my wall here. That is my new beginning. It's not the end. So, and then when I text you, and you were the one actually that told me, John, that's the best thing's ever happened to you. And I said, you're right. And right now, if I look back now and what's happening today, oh yes, it is.
But it's scary when you go through that. It's actually a really emotional thing to leave your job. And you had worked there for how many years?
Well, in the aerospace industry, over 20.
That's a long time.
Yes.
And I don't know if you know this, John, but I used to work in aerospace also. I worked in Aero Engine, actually. So my customers way back then were like General Electric, Pratt & Whitney, Boeing, things like that. So I know that industry pretty well. And I'm sorry that it came to an abrupt halt. So what did you do? I mean, so you get this emotional news, like you're no longer going to continue to get a paycheck. You've got to share that with your amazing wife. You got such beautiful kids. I mean, how did you go through that process and then pick yourself up and move forward?
The biggest thing was I hugged my wife.
Yep.
That's the first thing I did.
That's a beautiful thing. That's a great way to start, John.
Yeah, that's what I did first. And I reassured her. I said, honey, I have the knowledge. I just have not jumped in both feet. I've always been straddling the fence.
Yep.
Now, straddling that fence is actually extremely hard when you are working, especially if you want to do what full-time investors do. It's extremely difficult because I was going to bed 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Then going to work at 6 o'clock in the morning. So talking about lack of sleep. So what we did was we sat down and I immediately looked at all my books, looked at all my data, because I've already been searching for properties, and I actually just kicked that up tenfold. Instead of me just dabbling here, dabbling there, looking at stuff, I went full blast. and especially that I'm also a real estate agent. So I went into the MLS right away. I said, let's go and start making offers. And I just hit it full blast. I was like a Ferrari. Let's go.
I love the way you said you were like a Ferrari. And I love the way that you said you started the whole process by hugging your wife. And how do you think that getting that off on that type of a start made both of you feel?
Oh my golly. To me, it was so awesome because now everything really is on my shoulders, not relying on a company.
Yeah.
So that actually made me feel good that now my family does depend on me, period.
Yep.
Then reassuring my wife that everything's going to be okay, especially that God is in our life. That is big for me. I have known that God always watches over me. So I just go. And my wife says, I just have to get on board and hold on to your coattails and just drag me along. And that's what we're doing.
So she jumped into the Ferrari with you.
Yes.
John,
Sure
you seem so confident right now. How did that, were you confident from immediately, or were you a little shaky at first and then sort of built up as momentum built for you?
Well, anybody will be rocked. I'm not going to lie that when something like that happens. So, of course, my pride got hurt because, I consider myself a very good, hardworking engineer, and I know my stuff. Now, when somebody like that tells me that I'm not doing a good job, well, first time in 20 years, I don't think so. I think there's something wrong there from their perspective. So I just said, okay, everybody has an armor, or somebody kinked my armor a little bit. So I said, okay, let me just repair that armor and then start going full blast. People call me the beast. They've also called me very determined. So, with all those things, I am, just compare what I do with salsa. I've established 2 dance scenes in a lifetime. Nobody can really say they have done that, from scratch. Well, I'm very determined. So when I am focused, I go. This is the exact same way. My wife says, oh my, the way you were with salsa, you've shifted your energy to this. Uh-huh. Look at you. You're like nonstop bulldozer. I go, yes, I am. And I love it.
That's great. So how did you get started there, going back to the last summer? How did you sort of get started? You said you started with the MLS. Sort of walk me through the path of how you got started and really gained your momentum.
What got my momentum was I already had 2 properties. So I said I needed to increase this some more. So I just started looking at MLS, and I said, okay, so let me see if I can make some offers here. So I look for properties that are definitely ugly. Uh-huh. In our business, ugly is pretty.
Yep, ugly is green.
I went around, looked around, and so happened that Decatur, Alabama, is actually a place that is great for rentals. I was trying to look for a rental. However, I ran into a complete rehab. So I call this today my education house.
Yeah,
we'll go into that maybe later. But this house turned into where I've learned so much from it. And because of this house, I had to be in Decatur almost every day. And that's when I drove around the area. So from MLS, got this one property, drove around, and actually the house across the street, I bought that too. Because when I bought that one, I said I just have to sell my owner, small little sticky that was on their door. So I called them up, and before you know it, now I have 2 houses in Decatur. Then after that, it just went one after the other. So within 6-7 months, I bought a total of 7 properties.
Wow, that's like 1 a month. Can you believe it?
Oh, yeah, I was shocked too. I was shocked. But I said, oh boy, but it's wonderful.
What were your exit strategies on your first several houses? Because you had to replace your income, right?
Yes. Now, the beauty is, and I'm very fortunate that we had some money in our savings. Mm-hmm. And then also, I took out some of I know this might not be a good thing for some people, but for us, it was needed. We had some 401k that was sitting just small amount. We took that, put that in our stuff. But I also now have a self-directed IRA from my other chunk that I had before. Yep. So I have a self-directed IRA. We had a little bit in this one 401k that we used that to live off. Yeah. We had our own savings, and my wife also had a small amount somewhere that we put there. Then the beauty of this too, within a week's time, of me getting, laid off, we sold our boat,
Yep.
which we've been trying to sell for 2 years.
Smart idea.
I'm like, wow, that's great. And then here's what the best part is. The Lord knows when to give you the money. We had this land that I had in Texas for a long time, and I've been trying to sell it for the last 4 or 5 years. It sold that week also.
Wow.
So all of a sudden, we were blessed with money into our account that we could live off of.
Yep.
That's how we got our funds. And then, of course, we were very diligent. We don't owe anything except the house. So, I don't have a car payment. We actually pay that off when we get that money. So my wife doesn't have a car payment, so we're all good. So the only thing we have is our house.
No
so that's how we live.
No
and now
debt
we just
is a great thing. I mean, that's a huge thing. So you sold off some assets. You don't have any personal debt, so your burn rate of your lifestyle's in control, and that gave you the freedom to do what you want.
Yes, exactly. It was wonderful that way.
So these first several houses that you started working on, what did you do with them?
Well, the first two, one is for sale right now. The other one we kind of stopped because of the weather. But there's others that I bought that have become our rentals. Okay. And actually, just recently, I refied 4 of them, pulled the cash out, and now I'm buying more properties. So this year, 2017, we just closed one yesterday, and I have 4 more about to close by the end of February. So in 2017, that's 5.
All right, and we're only in the 4th week of 2017, so you got 5 deals already. That's amazing. Let's talk through those. How did you find them, and what are you doing with them? Just go one by one.
Yeah. Let's say the condo.
Okay.
There's a condo that I've actually talked to the owner prior to her listing this. Well, I was trying to work out something with her. It's free and clear with her. She said, I'll think about owner financing. Well, that one, I guess that she just kind of backed out. I guess she wasn't comfortable with owner financing. She goes, no, I'd rather just pay it off. I said, okay. So kind of let that go. She goes, I might just list it. I said, okay. Well, when she listed it, I still got it at the price that I wanted because I did my research. I did a CMA. So that was going to be a corporate housing. So that's my other niche. We're going to turn that corporate housing. We already have actually the material, all the equipment and everything for that. Which is this weekend we are going to fill it up and it's going to be ready for corporate housing.
Are you going to rent that like Airbnb or how are you going to do that?
I'm going to do every avenue. I'm going to try Airbnb, VRBO, and then corporate housing by owner. That's another one. That's a big one there. And I've been talking to them already.
And I think that's great because you can get a lot more rent when you do like vacation/corporate housing.
Yes.
So if you
and this is a good niche.
Okay, so if you rented that to a regular tenant, what would your monthly rent rate be? Do you think?
I'm thinking to a regular tenant, that's probably going to be about $700.
Okay, and what do you think you can get? Vacation, Airbnb, corporate type rental.
Minimum $1,300.
Okay, so an extra $600 a month. That's a lot of money right into your personal checking.
Yes.
I mean that's so it really dramatically increases your cash flow.
Right, and we got another one just in the same condo area, a for sale by owner. Okay. Her sign was there, and it's a 1-bedroom. We called her up, and she sold it to me really nice price. So that one we're still debating whether to make it get a regular rental or another corporate, housing. It's the same complex.
You seem to buy a lot of houses for sale by owner.
Yes. My wife said this. She goes, you have a way to talk to the owners to get them to say yes to you. Honestly, I don't know how I do it. I guess maybe because I am a talker. Yeah. But when I talk to for sale by owners, I'm a listener.
Mm-hmm. Well, do you think it's sort of like dancing? Because you're big into all this dancing, and I can't dance at all. But do you think it's talking to a motivated seller is similar to dancing? Because you got to sort of lead them, and they got to lead you, and eventually you meet and you get in sync and you get your deal, right?
I think that's a good way to think about that. Honestly, it really is because I do kind of lead them a certain path, and the way I do it too is I listen to them a lot, and I ask them what their motivation is and why they're selling, but it's not a direct question. I go, or just the way the conversation goes, that comes out. And then I'm also honest with them that if it's not for me, I tell them, this is not for us. You know, we won't be able to do this, but let me show you how you could sell your property. So I give them ways so that they can sell it. And they are so appreciative. I've gotten phone calls already. John, thank you for your tip. We sold our property. There you go. And you can't put money on that.
No, I agree. You're helping to solve problems.
Yeah,
So,
I love it.
So this one that you're talking about, number 2 here, how did they start off? Did they give you a price, or did you end up having to give them a price? How did you come to terms?
Oh, she actually, the second one, you're talking about the one condo?
Yeah.
Single? Yeah. That one, she actually gave me a price, which is the price of a 2-bedroom when hers is a 1-bedroom.
Okay.
So what I had to do is educate her in a nice way. I said, here are the comps. This is what happening in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
And this is what this is. And she goes, oh, I didn't know that. There you go. So that's what there's a beauty in expressing to them by facts. You know, no, I think this, I think that. No, this is what it is. Here are the numbers. When you show people numbers, it's hard for them to dispute it.
So you show them what it would cost to list with a realtor, closing cost assistance, home inspection, repairs, or do you just talk about price?
I just talk about price with them because that's what they're focusing on.
Yeah.
You know, so I show them because she presented it to me. I want this much, and I said, well, I can't pay that much because that is the value of a 2-bedroom. She goes, what? I go, yeah. So here are the numbers for a 1-bedroom. So when I send that to her, she goes, oh, okay. Then we agreed on a price, and it was a good price.
Okay. So how about the third one? You've got 5 of these under contract. Holy cow, you've been out making a lot of offers. All right, number 3.
Yeah. The one that I like is the 3-bedroom townhouse. This person called me up and said, hey, John, I saw your sign. I want to give you my townhouse. He said he wanted to give me his townhouse. I said, okay, well, let's go look at it then.
So you had Bandit signs out, or what kind of sign did you have out? A Bandit?
Was that again?
Did you have a Bandit sign out?
Oh, yeah, but it's not one of those you handwrite and everything. It's kind of fancy a little bit. You know, and it's got a nice little pointing like that, and it's pretty cool.
The arrows really help a lot, I think. That's good.
Yeah.
So how many signs do you typically have out?
Well, right now I only have 4.
Okay.
I only have 4 because I'm trying to watch what the ordinances does. I don't want them to pull my signs off.
So he saw one of the 4 and he called you up. He said, I've got a townhome I want to give you.
Yeah. So I went there and looked at it, and boy, he did some beautiful work. I was surprised. So he said, John, all I want out of this is $3,000.
Wow.
I go, okay, well, let me see the numbers. So now this particular one, the only reason why I said yes to it is because it is in a nice area. I don't have to do that much work, maybe between $3,000 to $4,000 worth of just paint and little touch up here and there, because he took things down, so put things back up, you know, just little stuff like that. Even though the equity is not big, it's probably maybe $15,000 equity in it. I am doing it because I'm looking for rentals, and it's beautiful, and it's going to rent between $750 and $950 a month, and my mortgage payment is probably going to be around $500.
Wow. So how much are you actually buying the house for? $51,000. Are you buying it with financing in place? Is that why he said he's just? Are you buying it subject to, or is he going to hold the note?
No, he wants out completely. So I have my lender.
Okay.
So we're going to go and just close it that way.
All right. So $51,000, and you'll rent it for $750. You like being a landlord, don't you?
Yes, I do. I love it.
Your tenants go to work every day, so you don't have to. I see how this works.
Yes. I like that mailbox money.
Mailbox money. I like it too. So that's number 4. Or number 3, was it?
Number 3.
Talk to me about contract number 4. So
number
5 contracts in 5 weeks is a lot. So we're up to number 4. Good.
Number 4 is a HUD home. And this is a good one. What I do with HUD is I monitor them. If I'm interested in a property, I monitor the number of days it's on the market, and I watch how they keep lowering the price.
Yeah.
Appears like every 30 days they lower their price. So I've been watching that. Now, when it hits 90, okay, that's when now I make an offer. Then, of course, I'm going to get the rejection.
Yeah.
Because, as investors, we always offer low. Then when it starts hitting around 120, that's when they start making decisions really on lowball offers. And I've gotten two that way. Now, on this particular one, it is a big house. It is a 6-bedroom house.
Holy mackerel. That's a lot of bedrooms.
This is big. The bottom half, it could be a house by itself. It has 2 bedrooms with a nice kitchenette. It's big. It's a house by itself. So you could have 2 families actually living in this thing. So we got it for, I'm going to give you the numbers,
all
75.
Right. That's good.
We are going to put between 50 and 65K into, depending on what my wife says we're going to put into it. Because she says she wants to be involved in this one. I said,
good.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, she's already says, this kitchen's got to go.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I just said, okay. Then I talked to my agent, even though I already know what the numbers needs to be. It's going to sell between 225 to 250.
Oh, that's good.
So there's a good spread.
So that one you're going to flip. So you're going to
Yes.
you're going to make, say, how much will you make on this? You're going to buy it for 75. I mean, you could make 75 to 125,000 somewhere in there,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
I mean, that's a lot of money. It used to take us a long time to make that much money.
Yeah.
And now
Yeah.
you're going to do it in a few months.
This one is just very fortunate that I've been monitoring. It's actually in a very established neighborhood. The houses there are at least 30 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they're big. So it's beautiful. Nice big trees and everything. So I said, well, we had a jackpot on this one.
Yes, you did. And that was a good exit strategy to flip that house. And you'd been following it on the Hudhomestore. How much was it listed for when you first saw it on the Hudhomestore? Do you remember?
About 140.
Wow. See, and you waited and you waited and you waited and you got it for almost half that.
Yes.
Pretty awesome, right?
Yes. Oh, I love it. You know, just being patient.
Yeah. You got to sometimes be patient. You got to stick to your offer. I think that's good advice. So that's number 4. How about house number 5?
Now, this one also was one of those called on my sign. The lady said, I see that you buy houses. Can you come and look at my house? I said, I'll be glad to. So I went. And she says, John, I just need $1,000. I said, okay. Do you owe anything? She goes, yes. And I want you just to go ahead and buy it from me. And this one is in the older part of Decatur. The rent there is going to be between $600 and $700. And she's pretty much the numbers on this one is she owes about $18,000 on it.
Wow.
So we're taking hold of that. Right now, that's going to be subject to.
Yep.
So her mortgage payment is about, I think, $350 or something like that.
Good.
So I'm going to pay that, give her the $1,000, and then she's moving out this weekend. So when she leaves, we're going to go in there and really assess everything, what we need to do. I have a very good handyman that understands how to do all this stuff. It's a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath. We're going to turn that into a 2-bath.
Yep.
We might be spending maybe about $9,000 into it, and we're going to rent it out for about $650.
I mean, that's really good. And so she's got a mortgage in place that you're taking over, and her balance is $18,000.
Yes.
I mean, that's a low balance. I mean, that's within the realm of getting it paid off and having it free and clear within a few years, you know?
Yeah.
If you want to. It's really good. How long has that loan been in place? Do you have any idea?
No, but it's been a while. She said it's been a while. She said she bought it for like 35 or 36 at one time.
Outstanding. So that's 5 houses: a for sale by owner, a Bandit sign, Hudhomestore, and then a Bandit sign for a subject to deal. What was your first one again? How did you find that corporate house?
Oh, that corporate housing was first a for sale by owner that I was talking to.
Yep.
Then she turned it into the MLS, and then the person just made an offer, and I got pretty much almost the same deal that I offered her in the beginning.
Okay, so it ended up off the MLS.
Yes, and the beauty of that one, though, because it is an MLS and I am an agent, I got paid.
That's pretty nice. You get paid multiple times is a good thing,
yes.
Right?
Yes, I love it.
I mean, that's really good. So tell me about the time when you had the house that was your education house. Because some people listening to the show today are like, man, I failed when I did my first deal, and so did I, by the way. So it's encouraging to hear people talk about their education house.
Yeah, this one right here, I'll tell you my first mistake. First mistake was I did not inspect the documents of the contractor. That's my first mistake. Yep. And from then on, he's actually been correcting his mistakes. Good thing it was like only a month and a half in when I was noticing things, you really have to pay attention to everybody. You just don't go, okay, here you go, take care of my house and then leave. No, you have to monitor every day, monitor.
Yep.
And that's what I did. And I started noticing things. So I started saying, hey, I need this, I need that, I need this. He was blocking me, fighting me all the way. So that's when I said, this is not good. So I had a very long talk with him, and he did not want to sign the paperwork that I gave to him, which is pretty much I needed a schedule of the work and everything, and I needed a breakdown of what he's getting paid, not just say, here's your lump sum. I want a breakdown of everybody. He didn't want to do that. So I said, well, you're out of here.
You fired him.
Yep.
It's a good way to learn.
The hardest thing is me being the GC, the general contractor. I really don't like that job, but I had to do it. So this right here, by me being the GC, it actually has helped me tremendously. Now I understand where the outlets need to be. I understand what kind of breakers needs to be happening in the layout and all that. So here in Decatur, all the smoke detectors have to be wired and everything together, not just individuals. So just stuff like that. You've learned
so much. Have you rehabbing a house from the dirt to the top of the roof? You learn a lot, don't you?
Yes, sir. And especially this is a complete rehab.
Right.
New HVAC, new electrical, new plumbing. This house was tilting a little bit, so we had to jack it up about 4.5 inches. A lot of rotten wood. Oh yeah, man, it was crazy. However, the final product, because now my touch was on there. Even my wife said, "You did this?" I go, "Yep, I sure did."
It's like being an artist, right? You start with nothing, and you end up with a beautiful thing.
And yes, and I'm not, I don't have the woman's touch. That ladies are very good with that.
They are.
Well. Yeah, and so what I do is I do research. I sit on my computer and look at all these beautiful homes that are out there, and I go, this works great, this works great, maybe I could do this here, do this here. I just do a lot of time researching on what to put in the house, especially for an older home. And we were able to mix old and new and beautifully. And even my agent right now, she says, man, this is amazing how you took this old home, make it look new inside, but outside you kept integrity of how it looks.
It's awesome. All right, John. Well, I've really enjoyed working with you and getting to know you in my boot camp and masterminds and through the Bank Elimination Blueprint. And I just want to congratulate you because when you got that news last May, you didn't bury your head in the sand. You hugged your wife and you got to work.
Yes, sir. That's exactly. There was no time to sit around and do a pity party.
Right.
Okay, cry a little bit, get it over with, and then you got to hit it running.
That's my advice to everybody. I always say, put your big boy pants on and go start making offers, right?
Yes, sir. Offers. Make offers all the time.
Yeah, that's why I like to say, if you're not making deals, you're not making offers. So make a goal to make one good offer every day, and you'll start having deal flow. 5 deals in 5 weeks is a great way to start the year. I just want to congratulate you again.
Thank you, sir.
All right, that's all the time we've got for the Investor Success Real Estate Success podcast today with my good friend John Morey from beautiful Athens, Alabama, outside of Huntsville. I love the way that he described the process from the day he left his engineering job in corporate America, kissed it all goodbye, kicked it to the curb, hugged his wife, started doing deals, and he is absolutely rolling in 2017. So everybody who's listening, I hope you were inspired today. Leave me a note, a comment in YouTube or iTunes or wherever you're listening to this, and let us know how you like John's story. I think it's very inspiring. And I wish everybody the best of everything. There's a free gift for you that I've got for you at bigmoneyinvestor.com/free gift. You might want to get that and pick it up and start doing your deals like John has. John, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, my friend.
Thanks for joining us today. Be sure to share this podcast with your friends and social media contacts, and visit us online at www.bigmoneyinvestor.com.